I want you to picture this, a fortress made entirely of earth, just rising out of the Iranian desert like some kind of giant mythical sandcastle. For 2,000 years, Arg-e Bam stood there, a testament to human creativity, a city of mud and memory that felt like it would last forever.
Okay, so let's really get into what we're looking at here. This is the largest Adobe structure on the entire planet. Not just a building, but a whole fortified city. We're talking palaces, mosques, bustling bazaars, all of it built from sun-dried mud bricks, somehow thriving for centuries in the middle of a desert oasis. It was and is an absolute masterpiece.
But imagine this. What if all of that, 2,000 years of history, of culture, of life, could be brought to the very edge of extinction in less time than it takes to catch your breath? That is the dramatic question at the very heart of Arg-e Bam's incredible story of loss and, thankfully, of rebirth. So, to really understand what was lost and what has since been saved, we need to first understand what this incredible place actually was. So let's dig into how and why this amazing fortress of mud was built in the first place. You know, the scale of this place is just staggering. It's hard to even wrap your head around it. We're talking about a site that covers 44 acres. It's surrounded by walls that stretch for almost 2 kilometers and stand up to 7 meters high, and those walls are dotted with 38 huge watchtowers. This was never just a castle. It was a sprawling, self-contained world. Someone who visited a long time ago described it perfectly. Even before the modern tragedy, back when the city was abandoned in the 19th century, it was this incredible maze of alleys, homes, and public squares. You could literally get lost wandering through the remains of mosques and schools, all of it huddled inside these magnificent ramparts. But here's the thing, Arg-e Bam was so much more than just a fortress. For centuries, it was a glittering jewel on the Silk Road, a non-stop hub of international trade. Its location was absolutely crucial, making it a vital link between East and West. It basically turned this desert fortress into a center of global commerce. And the Citadel's story? It stretches back over 2 millennia. Its roots go all the way back to the Achaemenid Empire. But it really hit its peak during the Islamic Golden Age as this key stop on the trade routes. It saw huge development during the Safavid era. Eventually, it became a military garrison, and then finally a protected historic site in the 20th century. So why was it so important? Well, for centuries, Badiam was famous for its incredible silk and cotton fabrics. It was a major center for silkworm breeding, which connected the entire region to the massive network of the Silk Road and the spice routes. Its bazaars were legendary, just packed with goods from all over the known world. And then, in a single moment, the story takes this absolutely devastating turn. Everything we've just talked about, the history, the commerce, the monumental architecture, it was all faced with complete and utter annihilation. At 5:26 in the morning on December 26, 2003, the ground beneath Bam began to shake violently. The result was, well, it's almost unimaginable. On the left, you see the majestic citadel as it had stood for centuries, and on the right, what was left after just 12 seconds of violent shaking. The iconic governor's fortress, the walls, the towers, almost completely leveled, just reduced to these formless piles of dust and rubble. The earthquake registered a magnitude of 6.5. In the wider region, the human cost was just staggering, with over 26,000 lives lost. But, and this is a really crucial point, that massive loss of life happened almost entirely in the modern city of Bam, where modern concrete and steel buildings collapsed, not in the ancient citadel, which was pretty much uninhabited. In the aftermath, as experts started sifting through all that dust and rubble, they stumbled upon a strange and frankly disturbing puzzle. Something about the destruction just didn't quite add up. And this was the central mystery. Investigators noticed this bizarre pattern. Ancient walls that hadn't been touched for centuries often stood with just a little damage, while many of the sections that had been recently restored and supposedly strengthened had completely disintegrated. How was that even possible? Well, it turns out the answer was literally in the mud itself. See, the ancient builders used a method called chine, or cub, where you build up earth in layers. But the 20th century restorers used kesht, which is sun-dried adobe bricks. The problem was, when you combine these two different materials with different densities, you create a fatal weakness when an earthquake hits. But that wasn't even the whole story. There was another hidden culprit: termites. Over centuries, they had tunneled through the ancient cores of the walls, eating the straw that held the mud together and turning the inside into a dry, useless powder. So the walls looked totally solid from the outside, but the earthquake just caused them to crumble from the inside out. The devastation was nearly total. But you know what? The story of Arg-e Bam did not end in that dust. What happened next was this remarkable tale of global cooperation and incredible resilience. Within months of the earthquake, UNESCO jumped in, placing Bam on its endangered list. And that sparked this massive international effort. For nearly a decade, experts from all over the world worked side by side with Iranian specialists to meticulously rebuild piece by piece. And by 2013, the site was stable enough to be taken off the list. So, what's the big takeaway from all this? The tragedy of Bam taught the world this profound lesson in conservation. It turns out that it's not just about how old a building is. Sometimes our own modern efforts to restore and strengthen can actually, by accident, create new weaknesses. And in this case, the untouched ancient ruins often prove to be much, much stronger. The story of Arg-e Bam really leaves us with this powerful idea. Its survival wasn't just about ancient mud walls. It was about a global community deciding that 2,000 years of history was worth fighting for. It's a reminder that heritage isn't just about what manages to stand the test of time, but about what we, all of us, together, refuse to let turn to dust.